Hi everybody, and glad you could make it to here Alpha Centauri is something of a commute, and don't worry about the background footage. I was recording something for Autism and Me Public Life, but I'll go into more detail of that here. Point is that we're just seeing the local cosmonauts who were setting up their own little community, their own social identity based on ideology rather than nationality. Now, and I guess that's what we're talking about today, kind of. But actually what we're talking about is mental health. For you see, there is a bit of a dialectic going on when it comes to mental health. Oh, sorry, I should explain. I know some of my viewers are from Vietnam, so you guys probably already know this, but because you were taught this at school. But while I was also taught dialectics at school, I gather not everyone was. So the point is, a dialectic is you take two things, and the dialectic is the relationship between them. And so, in this case, we're talking about the dialectic of mental health. Yes. And I'm sure that you're... So, I hope you're having a nice day. This topic might seem a bit sad for some people, and feel free to skip it if you so wish. Last time we did an Autism and Me episode, I showed you one of my mindfulness exercises called Landing Zone Albany. But here, so what is that dialectic? Well, it is the dialectic between who we are on the inside and what we're expected to be in real life. Now, I'm not marginalised, so this will probably come across differently to other people, but as I say, being with the kind of interesting thing, as it were, sort of how you're really feeling on the inside, but what you're expected to be, because there is something about people. It takes, according to the scientists, trying to remember exactly how long they said, something like 7 to 15 seconds to come up with an impression of somebody by seeing them. Now, that's not the real them. Obviously, you can know someone for years and only see what they present to you. I guess we're all kind of like that in some ways, but heck, I don't even use my real voice when I'm recording these videos. Why? Because it just doesn't sound right. I've been told so myself. Perhaps one day I will show you my real voice, but perhaps not. Anyway, so let's carry on, shall we? So, there are a set of social expectations. Expectations between who you are based on the physical appearance. Various physical characteristics are deemed to be your appearance, who you are, but that's not always the real you. But people don't always get to know you very quickly, so there's a sort of crude biological physical characteristics people often draw on. But they draw on other things as well. Your background, your religion, who your parents were, who you're with, how you sound, accent. Exactly. My accent, of course, is something I work on especially. People tell me I have a somewhat posh accent, and that's kind of one I put on for people in public. Because, well, I don't sound like this when I'm at home. I learned to talk well, to sound very English, very British, so I can speak properly. But that kind of creates the sort of double act, as it were. Because, well, what is expected of you differs from who you actually are, and that can create a sort of, they rub the wrong way. The sort of like, well, not lying as much as acting. Like, you're always on stage, you're performing. There's the performative element. Oh, sorry. My normal voice was coming through just then. Anyway, more to the point. Well, point is, when you create this impression, it's what people look for, it's what people expect, it's what people understand. It can create quite a jarring thing when people see what you really are on the inside, not just what you sound like. Sorry, what you sound like. But who you really are. What you feel on the inside. Now, yes, being autistic has meant that some things and some social expectations were not applied to me. At least that's one theory. People often tell me, seem to notice, they think, oh yes, you're autistic. So, because after all, when you're assigned male at birth, let's not beat about the bush anymore. Yes, people assigned male at birth, they're expected to be very, well, I know actually. I never got briefed on the full details. It's sort of like you're expected to know it. And then I'm like, what am I meant to do now? Yo, Sarge, what am I meant to do now? And they're like, you ain't figured this out already? You've been in country this long? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why I sometimes use Vietnam War language at this point. No way. So, as I say, when you're talking about mental health, this can be one of the reasons why it might not always be so great. Because you're just having to do stuff. Because, after all, as I say, the folks here on Alpha Centauri, they're more sort of like, they're a smushing together of pretty much every kind of human identity. We got a Scottish, or sometimes I think it said Australian, lady who runs the, environmentalist faction. Got an Indian surgeon running the Peacekeepers, the Democracy team, which is the team I like to play with. We got a Latin American lady who's doing the militarist stuff. They had a Chinese guy play the collectivist despot guy. Well, he's actually called the Despot. And we got a black guy from South Africa, or is it Namibia? I'd have to double check. Who's running the capitalist team. A sort of Anglo-Saxon lady on the religious team. And a Russian guy who's the scientist. And as we know, I'm not going to throw in too many spoilers as to these cosmonauts, but the basic story of Alpha Centauri is that the Earth got kind of messed up real bad, like. Lots of social and economic problems, and so the United Nations gets a bunch of cosmonauts together to send them off to a planet called Planet that's in the Alpha Centauri system so that they can go round and restart the humanity anew. And they form their communities based on ideology. Oh, but back here on Earth, well, talking in real life as well, but back here on Earth, communities aren't based on ideology. If that's even possible in real life, I don't know, but as I say, They're not based on ideology on Earth. They're based on a whole load of other things, which I'll get more into detail in Autism and Public Life. But point is, there's your real self. The self that's a lot more complex for, the inner workings, and of course a lot of outer workings too. The bit of you that keeps going on, the bit of you that's on the inside, how you're really feeling, but you just know you have to keep that in. You have to play the part. You have to be the person that they're expecting. Tall, brash, a bit naughty. Well, actually no, because there's also class dimensions, so sometimes you're not like that at all. Really, sorry. And hey, what? L's and R's are difficult sounds. L is a difficult sound, so sometimes it sounds a bit like an R when I say it. Hey, so we all got things we struggle with. Anyway, so as I'm saying, we're doing nice, smooth listening, and as I'm talking to you guys, we're trying to just cope with the idea that things just ain't always right. And you know what? For me, one of the things I struggle with my autism is maintaining. And of course, when I'm getting to this part, it jumps to a cutscene that throws me off my game. But that's the point. Life is dynamic. It moves. It throws you a curveball. Yeah, I learn a lot of English phrases. Although I think that's an American phrase. But anyway, it goes in different ways. And so you're trying to maintain this act, the carefully choreographed routine. But sometimes it just isn't working because something happens and you're like, what's going on here? Oh, I gotta come up with something else. I need to do something else. This is happening, and everywhere you go, every which way, and there you're going, every way, everywhere, all at once, and you couldn't even get the and no. And you just feel like you need to keep going and keep, but not only that, you need to keep up the act, especially if you are marginalised. Unlike, it's easier for me because I'm not, but for a lot of marginalised people out there, you got to keep up. You feel like you've also got to maintain the best impression. You got to maintain a better version of yourself that's more palatable, because society don't get it if you're not like what you're meant to be. Having to be more normal and fit in with the normal thing. Having that impression, the genteel, the kind of thing, and trying to understand what's going on. Even whilst you're then also maintaining a proper cogent impression, a proper cogent English language. Yeah, your language. People pick up on that. People think of you. Sometimes you come across in a certain way. Maybe they got fear and trepidation. Maybe they got all sorts of things. And sometimes you just have to stop. You just can't keep going anymore. You just try and maintain the proper Englishness. And you just try and maintain words. Words that mean something. Words that keep on going. Because you just got to keep on going even though it's not fine. But fortunately, at least there are some people who are able to help. Sometimes, hopefully. I hope that there is someone out there who can help. I'm probably completely useless because I'm basically a complete idiot with a microphone and a camera that I use for filming Alpha Centauri like it's actually relevant what I'm talking about. But no, it's not just about what you believe. It's about there's a sort of thing that goes on, and I just get really confused. I don't understand the modern world. I try and keep up with people, keep up with what they say, keep up with how to say, why am I keeping going? Okay. So as I say, the autism, it can get a bit much sometimes when you're trying to understand what's going on, but... And sorry. All I have to say is, it all very kind of, a bit disjointed. Like the recording. I try to think of what to say and how to say it in a polite way, in a way that works to understand both the social etiquettes, also how I really feel, to try and be authentic with people while also being truthful and also meeting social expectation. Because meeting social expectation can be quite tiring at times. Anyway, that's enough of me rambling. It's not like it's a big deal. Okay. Anyway. Yes! All I can say to you guys is, those are some of the issues you can sometimes face when you're a bit unsure what's going on. And it's like you try and keep up with the world, and the world's just very confusing sometimes. But, as I say, sometimes it can feel a bit strange, it's like who you are, not what you think, what you value, what kind of person you are. Now, those kind of things come out later. The initial first impression can be quite tiring, especially if you have to maintain it. And so often, so many people have to do that. Yeah, I'm a bit of all sorts of things. And a bit weird, and a bit silly. But you know what, guys? I'm just glad you people are so kind and supportive, and it was lovely having you here.